So Julian Council, to recap, he thinks D-tackle is the way the Panthers are leaning right now. It could be Mason Graham and Jalon Walker available at the same time. We're going to discuss that scenario all the way leading up to the pick, or until one of them potentially comes off the board before Carolina goes at 8, because I think that may be what's going on in the war room right now. In a little bit here, we are going to go to Danielle Stein, our sports reporter, who is at Bank of America Stadium, and she's got a fantastic story on the entire Walker family. So we've got Danielle now. As I mentioned, you are war room adjacent. So Danielle, listen, like full disclosure, you got here a couple months ago. You've been in the stadium like 3 times. So, but I think you know already what the Panthers' biggest need is.
Yeah, I'm a quick learner in that regard. Nick, it's pretty clear from just the short time I've been here that the Panthers definitely want to be addressing their defense. As we've talked about numbers of times, historically poor this defensive team this last year, so we can expect that they will be looking to bolster that side of the ball coming tonight in the draft.
And you got to jump on that potential pick going up I-85. Tell me about the Walker family and what you learned about Jalon Walker this week.
Yeah, obviously we had to go talk to Jalon Walker, not only just because he's just up the road in Salisbury and a potential top 10 pick in this draft, but of course a lot of those mock drafts had him circled as who the Panthers could be landing at that number 8 spot. So of course we wanted to go chat with him. He's a dog. We talked about his time in Georgia and what he did there, winning the Butkus Award, but there is so much more to the player and the person that Jalon Walker is. So we also knew that his dad, Curtis, is a former college football coach himself, but it really wasn't until middle school that Jalon himself started to become interested in the sport. He got to fall in love with it himself, not just through his dad, which was pretty cool. This was a kid who actually used to not like getting dirty back in the day when he was really young. He was more interested in the arts, so pretty cool to see the transition to where he now is today, getting ready for his name to be called on draft night.
All right, so Danielle did a wonderful piece for us tonight at 5:30 on Jalon Walker and those beginnings that didn't necessarily involve football. So, Jeb, let's hear Danielle's story again.
Jalon Walker's first dream.
He wanted to go.
He just wanted to be a star.
Yep, didn't matter.
All he wanted. You know, in everything he was doing, he wanted to be the best. Singing in the school play, I mean, he wanted to sing the lead role. Everything he's done, he wanted to do it at the highest level.
Yeah, he grabbed the singing bug. We thought it was going to be something along that line. Like, we never really saw this football thing at first.
Now, Jalon Walker is on the cusp of taking the biggest stage in the NFL.
They had the flyers, you know how they send stuff home, and it was about football. And he said, "Hey, can I play?" And I'm thinking, okay, sure. And so we were excited at that point that he wanted to play.
Maybe not what you'd expect early from the son of a coach. Jalon grew up watching his dad, Curtis, on the sidelines, coaching at Coastal Carolina as a defensive coordinator and eventually returning to his alma mater, Catawba College, to take over as the head coach.
All about working for me. It's always putting yourself in the best position. Of course, you know, football coaches were tagged with having, you know, moving around all the time as far as their careers, and you know, we wanted something different for our family.
And really, this last stint that we just had, we did that was kind of intentional.
Back in Salisbury, even though Jalon didn't start playing football until 7th grade, he was immersed in the game.
He was at all our practices. I know she had a schedule, but you know, I will see her ride down the hill, car stop, 2 doors open, and then they'll fly out, and then they will get lost amongst our team. But that experience was all in all for him and Deuce to be able to sit there and learn at their own pace. We're able to watch the interactions of our coaches and our players and hearing the grunts and seeing the coaching, seeing the intensity of the ball game.
Those moments shaping Jalon's character to the player and the person he is today.
Being tagged as a coach's kid, I mean, you look at the basis, what they are coming from.
Can she hear the
source of structure, discipline, work ethic. Well, that's Jalon Walker. You know, he really defines it.
It's just genuine. That's just who he is. It's funny. We're like, they were listening. You know, all the times we're just like, did you hear what I said? Yes, I heard you. Yes, ma'am, I heard you. But just knowing now, like, oh, they were listening and they were watching. I'm a firm believer in what they see is what they'll be.
The Walker family has left more than their mark on the Salisbury community.
Landing back here, taking the job that we took, and we had a chance to bring our boys back to Salisbury where her family's there. Catawba College where I was undergrad, had an opportunity to come back to coach. We knew that those relationships were still within this community, so we knew coming back to Salisbury was going to be something special for our family.
A place where a star would begin to shine under the support of his family. And the legacy of Jalon Walker continues to sing.
That was a great story, Danielle. I guess just you talk to the Walkers forever, I'm sure, and you have to put it into 2-3 minute piece there. What was your just takeaway on them and how it relates to Jalon, who's obviously viewed as just such a good kid?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's been talking about how high character that Jalon is, and it's so clear that it comes from his parents. Just the morals that they've been instilling in both Jalon and their younger brother Deuce. These boys seem to have great examples of parents and that idea of family. You know, they were talking about the ideas that coaches oftentimes are bouncing between jobs, moving all the time, and really prioritizing wanting to be in the same sort of area, staying at schools and programs while Curtis was coaching in college for a prolonged time so they could really build the foundations. Shika even talking about how important it would be for the boys to get established friends throughout their middle school and high school lives rather than moving back and forth to other programs. I think that is something that's pretty indicative to character as well, and they really value that a lot, especially when I was asking them about their idea on if the Panthers were to pick him at number 8, what they think, and they both gave a pretty good case, saying it'd be pretty convenient for us because yes, their other son Deuce is still playing college football down at Georgia State, so it would be really easy for them to be able to just drive up and go down to Atlanta on a Saturday, come up to Charlotte on a Sunday, and get to see them play. They have a lot of family throughout the Carolinas, so keeping that family vibe together is really important for them.
All right, Danielle, let's get a little intel from you. Does Jalon still have those pipes? Because I could envision, Panthers pick him at 8, and maybe before a game this year, he's belting out the Star-Spangled Banner at Bank of America Stadium.
Listen, he's got pipes for sure. I mean, that was really impressive. I think he was in middle school at the time. Curtis was saying that he actually would come out for the Catawba College home openers every single year and sing the anthem too. He might not be singing. He said, Shika, his mother, said that he's not really singing as much, but vocal performance is still something that he has keeping under his back pocket. He's actually done a couple voiceovers in commercials for the SEC. He did 2 SEC commercials this year where he voiced it and did one for Georgia as well. So he's definitely got that little performance edge to it, and I think we see that on the field. He likes to be a star, likes to perform, and be that star that Curtis was saying he always has been, even from the get-go.
All right, well, you are at Bank of America Stadium, so, listen, and you were there last week for GM Dan Morgan's press conference. What did you take away? Did he tip his hand at all in your mind, or did you get any closer to kind of knowing or having a lean on what they're going to do tonight?
To me, if Dan Morgan a couple weeks out is already talking about, yes, we're entertaining these other calls from other teams to potentially trade up, I feel like that's a pretty good indication that that could be what we're seeing tonight. To be talking about that concept so early tells me that maybe they aren't, in love with a certain player that they feel like they need to get at that number 8 spot. Maybe there is someone that they love. Maybe that someone is Jalon Walker, but maybe they think they can get him a little bit later on in the draft, and they're looking to try to, of course, build more picks and get more drafts coming in. So I think we could be seeing them making a move to trade out of that 8 spot. I don't know, though. We're going to have to wait and see. It's exciting.
Danielle, I think if you walk down the hall and show Dan Morgan that piece, I think they will be in love with Jalon Walker, and they will pick him tonight at 8. Great job.
Thank you, Nick.
All right, Danielle Stein, we will hear from her again after the pick at Bank of America Stadium and again on our 11 o'clock newscast on WCNC Charlotte.